in the mail came some plans for the Rich Road project.
Great.
They expect to file on Friday. And then we'll be getting a copy of the application and other things, so. If you have any interest in looking deeper there. Along those same lines, I just want to remind you, Bill Buchan will be here at for our meeting in April.
Oh, good.
It's important that our concerns are, we're able to express our concerns. And they're not just concerns that, geez, I don't like the idea of solar.
No,
We need to,
A little more specific.
we need to be
substantive.
substantive. I got it out, kind of. You did a better job. You say it.
There's another word, substantive and
Concrete.
compelling, substantive.
Compelling.
Yeah, that's a
Compelling, there you
good, that's a good one.
So, think about that, please. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm reminding you now. I will try to remind you again about that.
Our April meeting is like the 21st, right, or something like that.
There's a calendar in the back of the calendar.
Now, the other thing that I wanted to correct
She still hasn't.
is that, yes, we do have to, I couldn't find that we did Josh Vine. So we'll take care of that, which is fine.
Mhm.
And we will have Joe Mastro here to be sworn in, because I think
Right.
everything has finally come through on you.
Yay.
Great.
We can do that officially, so,
All right,
Okay.
that's good.
so that cleans that up. Today, Sally and I spent some time going over the budget, our ideas, some of her thinking. And in the process, you will see that we have been able to cut this budget down in such a way that it requires a 1 cent raise per thousand. Which, and it also brings us to our levy of just 1%, no, less than 1%,
Less than 2%.
less than 2%. So
That's the magic number.
I was working out to the nines,
Yep,
so
we're good.
we are just under the levy. So
Okay.
should you choose to accept our adjustments, that's where we are. And then based on that, if you have anything that is concerned to you, we need to talk about and also decide where you're gonna get the money from.
Right.
Because we have got things pretty tight right now on contingency and other things. So Sally, do you wanna go over what we talked about and
Sure.
the adjustments made?
And I will say that Tim joined us for part of our conversation this morning.
Yes. help me.
Because a lot of these things involve Tim.
Yep.
First thing, chips, we reviewed with Tim what he actually expected that we were gonna get. And that was an increase in our budget for revenues of 25,000.
Okay.
He's expecting 150,000. Maybe a little bit more, maybe less. So,
But that is also, remember, based on some holdover from last year.
Sure.
So it's not that we're gonna get all that amount in new funding,
right.
so. But
Next item is economic development. We're given an update from Jenny. That there's a possible $54,000. Administrative fees that we would be collecting, so that was added in.
Mhm.
So that totaled 79,000 extra in revenues. As far as expenses in the municipal building. Is an added 5,000, and that was for the table and chairs. That's half the price, because that would be a shared building expense.
Thank God.
Next item is general repairs equipment is. Decreased by $215,000. That is the loader,
Yep.
and we took that out completely, and we're dealing with lease. That's what we will be doing.
a lease to buy type of
Right.
option.
And we're actually given this afternoon. Options. Lease options. So
3.5 year option,
Right.
but we need to refine that and then find out what delivery time would be, and
right,
And where would that be reflected in the budget?
we haven't yet. and that will
Got it.
be,
Yep.
that will have to happen.
Sure,
Still-
depending on delivery time.
Okay.
So
So
we
by
don't-
our next work session, we'll
Right, well,
probably. have
We
that
don't
sorted.
know yet,
Right.
where we're at for that.
That was, of course, a giant chunk of our change.
Right.
Talked to Tim also about sidewalks. There was nothing in the budget currently for sidewalks. 10,000 is added to this for sidewalks. And we talked about that is really our capacity for sidewalks
Right,
that we.
In terms of our.
in terms of people power,
Yes.
probably the materials too.
Yeah.
It's always hard to get
Yep.
the.
Yes.
Okay.
Next item is a slight decrease. And that's because it should match the CHIPS money we're getting. The paving was 154, decreased by 4,000.
As in, he would reduce the paving amounts to
Right.
that
So $4,000,
$4,000.
right?
But it shows up in two spots in all of
Right.
this.
One's revenue and the, right. So it should equal the same. We shouldn't be doing more paving than we're gonna be getting money in. And he
I mean,
also,
unless it's coming out of our.
unless
own.
it's, right.
Right,
Next item was added was economic development requested some office equipment.
Yep.
Next item was a decrease in our transfer to the golf course by 20,000. And that had to do with the reduction in expenses in the golf course by 20,000. And that was personal services,
That went from 80 to 60.
right?
Mhm.
So as you can see, that brought us down to a 1 cent rate change in the tax rate. And a 1.99% tax levy,
Increasing the tax levy.
yes.
That's a big difference from where we were 2 days ago.
It is.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that was,
I know
we're not done there, but we'll figure that out.
Right.
I gotta just say, the sound's sort of cutting out a little. Or, I don't know, I just had a hard time hearing Beth and Mike.
Okay, we'll try to speak up.
Sorry.
So after that, do any of you have questions about what Sally? Can you say anything about? Well, there's paint gonna be done in that, temporary work. That's a small amount, not too concerned about that right now. So. Well. Something. How much? I guess that's kind of the question, is if you, where we're at right now. Want to put X in, you gotta take X out. So. Yep, a couple thousand. I think, and if it's already into his budget to do that, I didn't get a chance. Maybe. Well, there is paint, that kind of stuff has to be done, and crossing, this would be additional, it would be, a little bit more than just two pluses. It would be painting the green diagonals, lights. We made a decision. Oh, yeah, I was thinking, we didn't put anything in there and pop up successful. And money to paint. If, haven't decided. out. You also don't. No, I know. I was gonna. Easy.
Okay, I can't hear anything that Klaus is saying.
That's really interesting.
Wow.
Actually, the owl is.
Maybe
good.
how the owl is turned makes a difference. Can you hear?
Can you move it
Can you hear
closer to
that part?
end of the table?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
The owl placement seems to be critical to our hearing things.
My
think-
question is. Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, I couldn't hear you before, so.
Great. So to Klaus's point, do we have monies in complete streets that could be utilized for that? Or not?
No, there was no request from Complete Streets.
Okay. Because sometimes in the past we've had like,
Yeah, they had.
Well, last year
A
we
couple thousand.
sort of decided to put it basically under Tim's regular budget. Rather than having a separate set aside for complete streets, we decided to include like the crosswalk painting and that kind of stuff. We decided it could just be in Tim's regular budget. So that's why there's nothing listed.
Got it, yeah.
Assuming under complete.
there,
streets.
yeah, I'm there.
But it
And
would
it's
be,
not, yeah.
you know, I was just thinking, if we get to that point in September and we want to do that, it would be really, really handy if we had something for paint. And I guess we shouldn't assume that there'll be enough in Tim's regular budget to just take a chunk, out of something. We don't want
Right,
to
without talking.
take it out of something else. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I could have caught up with Tim. And the last couple days have been real hectic. I've been a little distracted.
Well,
We haven't had a lot of time between the two
Right.
budget sessions,
Right.
so I mean,
Right.
I think it's reasonable. We
Yeah.
have some time before then our
Okay.
next one,
Okay.
so it's reasonable for us to have all of these questions and be able
Yeah,
to talk
I
these
just thought
things
I'd
through.
throw
It's
that out
fine.
and see if it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I mean, I have some
Tim
questions. about-
say at our meeting that, when we talked about that he was gonna check, that the original quote for paint seemed low and he was gonna check on that.
Yes.
So
Right.
he probably has a better idea by now of what. That's.
And
gonna
that was for temporary and not, and what Klaus, what you didn't hear probably is that Klaus is looking to.
Permanent paint.
Have
Some
permanent.
permanent paint, so that.
Oh,
if
okay.
Pop-up works out, we'll want to do the permanent paint.
Oh,
And
right.
And we could set aside, a little bit of money for permanent paint, so we could proceed with that project
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
fall.
If
If
it-
that turned out,
If
we
the
don't know,
pop-up looks good. Okay, sorry, that's what I didn't hear then. Okay.
that was the thought.
Our microphone is this, correct? Is
Yes.
the speaker this, but not the microphone, and that's part of the issue?
It's great now. It's great.
Oh, okay, okay.
It was just and once you moved it, it's been fine.
Mike,
good.
can you talk so we can hear, she can hear you?
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
I can hear you, dude. I can hear the man.
Heard that.
Perfect.
I have questions for Tim as well, because I understood from him that, expenses in like the supplies category, that he had run over on that a long time
Yeah.
ago, and so, but I don't see them increased,
Yeah.
so I,
Uh.
when he got back and looked at
Yeah.
his,
Tim also
that
wanted,
original statement wasn't true, but I do have, I do wanna run through this.
Tim wanted to repaint the raised crossing on Judson
did.
Street,
That's true.
and that's fairly expensive.
Uh-huh.
That kind of paint is real expensive. And
Yeah.
so we could include that too if we thought,
I believed that he had budgeted for paint
oh, okay.
Well, I'm-
in here.
It-
I
I'm
mean,
on the
that's
right
a normal
spot, right?
maintenance
Mhm.
type thing.
For
and-
supplies.
Well, yes, but then there's
So-
also,
When will Tim be back? Where is he?
He was here today. He is
Uh-huh.
out of the office
But then
tomorrow. I'm
there's
not sure about
stuff here.
Friday.
Okay.
Maybe Friday.
right, and
Mm,
the
Okay,
general.
I'll
repairs,
email him,
it's snow
And
removal,
whenever he
street
gets back,
lighting.
we can see what he had
Yeah.
figured.
And I can email him and let him know that the board has
I know if
questions.
that would, we need
Okay,
to
so what
find
do we
out.
have for the next question that we need to look at? Or questions?
I just had a general question. on the fund balance? Do we have a number on that? I see what we've appropriated in the past, but I just didn't know if you had any figures
Yeah,
on
this was a work session, so I didn't do that. I can.
Okay.
definitely-
it. Okay, just curious. Thank you.
One of my questions has to do with, the property we're buying and the payments for that. I know that we don't have all those details
No.
worked out, obviously, but
Mhm.
should we be including some sort of estimates?
We weren't gonna include that right yet.
Okay.
Do we know?
We are expecting to know shortly.
Okay, so before budget time, okay,
Very short.
okay, okay, because it strikes me that that's gonna be something we wanna plan for.
Yes, and I will say that, the main person I'm dealing with at the bank said that there may be some, things that we can do with the money we have to earn money that would actually almost pay for the payments that we're gonna have to pay.
Okay, I'm very
So-
excited to hear
So
more about
I'm
that.
waiting-
That I like to hear. That is the magic money.
Before we can say anything. to anybody.
Well, of course,
That's
of
fine.
course.
So we're, it's still.
In
kind
the
of
works.
fluid
In the
right
works.
now.
Yep.
Okay,
We can be patient.
So,
absolutely, I just think it's fair to raise
Yeah.
and, it's something that's not here that, that's all. Great, great. Where was I? I have golf questions, but I might not have golf questions now that you have addressed that. I have to find the page.
Yeah, so you're gonna talk to Tim about the Remington Trail and whether there's anything.
What
tentatively
about
in there.
Burlington Trail?
It doesn't have any
Is there,
tentative
there was
budget.
5 in it last year,
Yeah.
is that right?
Mhm.
Did we keep the 5 in it?
We didn't
Oh,
know.
no.
I'm guessing there wasn't a request
There was no
for it.
request.
No request for it.
And usually that request comes from question mark. Tim?
It would come from Tim.
Or through the people that are asking Tim for things for the trail.
Tim and Megan and I met a while back and discussed it, and then Tim and Megan were gonna work out whether Rec would handle the Remington Trail or Tim's crew would handle it. And they were gonna meet and figure that out, and I never heard back, so I don't know what they came up with, whether Tim had it figured out of his budget or Rec was gonna cover it.
It has
They-
never come up in rec.
Well,
Never
and
come up
that, therein lies the problem.
Okay,
Right.
so,
Okay, well,
No, I agree.
right,
yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, if it's
Okay.
not coming out of Rec, then we should add that to the Tim questions. when
well,
we
I
talk
don't
to
know,
Tim.
it's never come out of rec, has it?
No,
No,
Mhm.
so this is new.
yes.
Well, it's not completely new. I mean, in the past,
It's,
Toby and I used to request it.
Yeah, but what, I don't know if anything's needed out there right now.
and
We-
that,
we
and
were
that,
On a
the
plan
assessment is
yeah.
good,
at
right?
one time.
And I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything there for this year. That's all. And if it's in a rotation where we're okay for this year, although maintaining it and making sure that whatever that weed is, it's not good.
That,
That's
all done with the golf course. Treatment.
Okay.
The golf course superintendent sprays. And takes care of,
Okay.
that control for that weed.
okay.
Mhm.
I just know it comes up.
Is that is it wild parsnip that's out there?
Yes,
Yes, it is.
yes.
And they spray, I thought you had to pull that out.
No, they spray and then cut.
Oh, it's nasty business, but okay, just curious.
This is you. right?
Yes.
So that's a question for us, Barb, to follow up on.
Mhm. I mean, if Tim has it figured in his budget, that's possible, but I have a hunch that they didn't really decide on it.
It's just,
Okay.
it doesn't have anything in it
Right.
right now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I suspect
I
that
just wonder
Megan
if we
and
should
Tim
think about-
haven't decided
I
or
mean,
haven't
obviously
figured
not
out.
you right now, but
the
we
final
should think
plan.
about this, because that might be a
That's my
place
guess.
we have some.
okay.
Play.
But-
Yeah,
And,
because we're
and
talking
maybe
about-
we're in a spot where we don't have, where we can
What's that?
skip it this year and have it rotate.
So we were talking about that, the treasurer position is in there as a full-time position. but we're talking about currently
Yeah.
I
part-time.
mean, for,
So if we
Mhm.
needed a little room to play,
There may be a little,
right,
but, you know, there's a little here and there, but, you know, as I said at the beginning, and I said, 2 nights ago. If you add
That's right.
something to this, you add 5,000 to this, you gotta find 5,000 somewhere that you're gonna cut,
We hear that.
so.
I just want to make sure that we're not missing stuff is all.
Mhm.
So that we know if we need to negotiate and things like that, that we're on top of it.
Mhm.
And hopefully, we're in a place where we're in a rotation where the Remington Trail is fine.
I haven't walked it recently,
not.
but I will get out there to walk it.
I could go away.
Well,
dog. Word.
yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're not paying the share over there.
Right.
It may go away there.
It'll show up somewhere else.
Show up some, yeah, yeah. You're not gonna get something for nothing.
Well, sure.
The dog will show up somewhere else.
Yeah, I know. I'm okay, I promise, I'm not sick.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, not sick. I mean. That was sort of my big question. I came in knowing we needed to speak to Tim.
Yeah.
I need more than a day with it, you know what I mean? So.
That's fine.
So I honestly don't have a lot of additional questions right now. There are some things around, I have some concerns around salaries. I have some concerns about the completeness of the DPW budget. I would like to discuss water rates, water and sewer rates.
So that, yeah, and that was gonna be another, that would be another conversation. The big piece for us right now was to focus on the general fund. Water rates, there's no doubt, we have to look at water and sewer. And, probably in the 2.5%, 3% raise. And that's pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
I mean,
But
we
if
have
we
to-
do
have-
that,
We
it
have to keep boosting it up.
ups-
Right.
Right,
It ups. what?
revenue, so
It ups revenue in water and sewer.
it does.
So, that's. But that's something we have to consider for some of the projects that are coming up.
Mhm.
There's no doubt that that conversation needs to be had. But, really the biggest thing that we're faced with is. The levy
Right.
and, and that's the general. Fund. We've moved things to water and sewer that deserve being water and sewer. So that's helped.
Right.
And can I just, in the general, this is just another curiosity thing. Are we just, under the attorney? It looks like the money just went to the C&E line instead of,
Right, because he's not an employee any longer. Jerry was an employee.
I got it. I thought it was a difference in how they were, paid. Okay,
And the attorney's funded from several locations.
right. Because
Not
he
just-
serves multiple people, right?
Right.
Obviously. Okay,
Can I ask a quick question about? It's under street cleaning and it's equipment rental and it was 0 last year and it's 11,200 this year.
That truck. So
Is
that's
it represent
that's the
lease
on
The lease on the truck. Got it.
and in general, I noticed that most of the time, and not that it's certainly not a significant amount of money at all, but that travel has gone up in everybody's budget. Is that to reflect like gas prices or?
Well, like I can speak for my department. We're gonna have hopefully a new person someday. And, and also.
Someday your prince will come.
Yes. And also, in the past, we haven't done a lot of workshops and travel, but we're
Okay.
trying to attend more
Yeah.
travel, more educational opportunities.
We're encouraging.
Professional development is good.
That's good. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Okay. Also, what, under the other sort of big one, that the historian went up quite a bit.
That's because of the move down to the
Oh,
corner.
okay. Is that reflects the rent and everything down there? Got it.
And that's, that's our portion of the,
We got
a
that.
third,
We received that from
no half.
Mary Ann.
Half,
Right.
except for a third.
Right.
So here's
There's
an,
also an increase in the assessor
Uh-huh.
because she's going full-time. So you'll see
Right.
an increase.
right. So here's another big one that I see. It's under the superintendent.
What's the number?
Highways. The line number is 015110, and then it's 2 and 4 zeros. It's general repairs. It went from 29,000 to 268.
So that's the loader, that
That's
comes
the
back
That
down.
comes back down,
Right.
right? I was wondering if that, yeah, that's, yes, it's this right here. It's the 250.
Yeah.
Right.
Right,
Okay.
so,
That's where that, I just wanted to make sure.
so that
that's-
would be an increase of an increase of, is 53,000 the correct
The
number to
correct
put in
number is
there?
53.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I just found it, that's all.
Didn't you hand us a separate, never mind, I
Should
could
also remember that there's some flexibility built in this, the way this is constructed.
Right,
Because, these are grouped in big groups, and,
Right.
they're broken down in this, but when it's reported, it's kind of a larger group, so if they don't spend as much in, equipment maintenance repairs and a little more auto parts repairs.
Right.
That's there's
Sure.
flexibility. in
Right.
that. So, because it's in a line here, doesn't mean it stays in that line
Sure.
all the time. Right.
right,
No, the lines help you analyze it at, where are we spending our money? But
Mhm.
in general, he has a budget to deal with that he applies where he needs to.
golf course kitchen equipment,
Yeah,
that's new.
that was brought to me by Tim. I think there's a cooler.
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
cooler.
Right.
Cooler or
Which
refrigerator?
page is that
Cooler?
on?
Cooler, I think, for the.
It's the
for the
one
bar
after
area.
The
that.
large cooler.
Green, the green, it's after that, the page after that green tabby.
Okay,
Right, okay, that's good.
this is where you
No,
Well, you'll
green.
find it in capital also.
Flip back one page. Right there.
Oh, interesting,
You'll find
Ours
it in
is
the
half
capital
different.
page.
are. Okay,
right,
So
yeah, I remember now.
that's a $3,000.
Mhm.
Versus, I think, for repair on it was like 1,200 or
Yeah, it's
1,500 or
just,
something.
it's time to replace.
Crazy that fertilizer has increased by almost.
fertilizer.
Mhm.
That's an interesting,
Mm.
like, seems
Everything-
kind of
But
random,
it's-
right? Like
Mm.
fertilizer, double your cost,
What do you know?
almost.
Mhm.
This is new too, this 5,300 in consulting fees.
Yes, and that came from Scott.
So that must be in this page, on this page somewhere,
Yes,
this one.
yes. Consulting fees is on this one.
Did you
Might
find
be the
it?
same. No,
I
did
didn't.
you?
Mm-mm.
Sometimes it's like,
So it's,
figuring out a new language.
he had it
Under
in
contracted,
landscaping,
contracted and landscaping,
Right.
okay.
so that equals 53.
Okay, and so this is to pay somebody to landscape contractor?
Mhm.
Oh,
So we're
We-
looking at
we
these
need-
two things right here.
and that equals, this is, so.
yeah.
This number would here, I was trying to get at this number.
Oh, right. So that is landscaping and contract.
I wonder what we need out there. I wasn't aware that.
Well, the garden club used to, and maybe they're not gonna do it anymore. They planted flowers and
Mhm.
took care of the shrubs and those kind of things. And I don't know, that the garden club is
Fabulous.
available to do that. I don't know.
Okay,
Who's on the garden club?
maybe the golf committee wants to find more out.
Perhaps the golf committee does. Here we go, Barb.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
You too. Got it.
Landscaping.
The garden club.
And they enjoyed doing it.
I love that. Who's on the garden club?
Well, I think the problem with the garden club's membership is they're not probably getting too many younger members and they're sort of aging out.
I think we need to get some youth involved in the garden club.
And I
However-
think when I'm myself in a category, I'd like to not admit, but I think I could join the garden club and I'd be the youngest person by 20 years, so.
I think you're right.
Isn't there a class at school? It's like
Yes.
agriculture and something.
Yes.
Yes,
What
Carol Wright,
Carol Wright
baby.
has it,
Yes.
Yeah,
They
Wait,
should
the
join the garden
FFA.
club.
or do some sort of collaboration.
Yeah,
That would
there
be
you
a
go.
really good
It's
opportunity.
a great
Yeah.
idea.
Intergenerational.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
Love it.
All over that. Writing it down.
FFA,
Yes.
FFA.
There you
It
go.
is. She's got a leadership class too that might, yeah.
None of which takes away the dollars and cents, but does make it more fun to spend, I suppose.
Well, and anytime we can create, or encourage any collaboration like that.
And be a learning experience for the
Right.
kids. Yep.
I mean, some kids might never go there, know it's there even, if they,
And an opportunity to
These are-
volunteer.
I mean, okay, we have a much larger interfund transfer than we
Because we have-
usually do.
Why
So
is that?
we really, the golf course,
So that's.
I mean, just
reflected
to
on
flag
this,
that for folks, that's
Yep,
that's a bigger expense that is not being matched
Right.
by increased revenue here.
And we won't really have any idea until after April and May are over with what this year is going to bring.
And therefore, we might find out that we're lucky and we can up revenues, which will
Right.
help,
Increase that.
offset the expenses a little.
but
That's the great
it's
unknown.
hard to plan.
That's the
that
great
one.
unknown, and you don't know until what the final number is, until we're at the end of.
Into May, I would say.
So it's too late by then for us to.
Mm.
Yeah. And there's really nothing you can do about that timing, because it's seasonal, so.
I've always had one idea that we can do, but I won't say it.
You could be a guest at our next golf meeting.
Tom's sitting here. I don't want to quote
Sure
it in
he
the paper.
I think we might know your idea.
You think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think one of the takeaways is that, you know, inflation hits these numbers in some pretty incredible ways. So
Yeah.
it isn't necessarily that we're spending more. It's not
Correct.
that we are,
We're not being
Spending more.
extravagant.
No, we're not.
It's
there's nothing
costing-
frivolous, and in fact, we're not, in a lot of categories, we're not buying more.
It's just
No.
costing
It is
more.
just costing a third to double more.
So, you know, anything you try to do is gonna be impacted
Yeah,
across the board by inflation. We haven't even gotten into contract negotiations yet.
right.
We
Right.
have one coming up.
Mhm.
Just waiting for them to say, we gotta talk.
We're ready, yeah.
And they haven't done that yet. So
Okay.
they notify us that they're ready. There's a process and, you know, we'll go down that path when it's time. So,
Mhm.
the others, the other two unions are a little ways out.
Right,
Not all that far, but a little bit. The town. Or whatever, reason they set a standard that they'll probably use against us, so
well,
whatever.
other fees and service, that must be where the capital's going. I can look that, no, for water,
Oh,
other fees and services is where we put the capital projects, right?
right.
So when you see the larger increases in other fees and services, that usually is gonna reflect back on the capital project sheet.
Well, I think the one, other thing services in water. Is they're required to do the share of month in water.
There it is.
Yeah, whatever,
There's
30,000.
several things
That-
coming up in water.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
but that is because we are required this year to do an extraordinary amount of testing.
And no, again,
We're mandated.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna continue.
Yes.
I thought we
So-
did it this year and go team and we're,
No, Tim
No.
told me,
It's sounding like there's gonna be more regular testing.
and no more regular funding.
correct.
EPA.
You
Well,
got it.
why would you expect additional funding?
You got it,
The
Dave.
EPA is gonna require quite a bit of additional testing. I'm not, you know, I don't know if the health department will or the DEC, but
Okay,
the health department will,
Mhm.
or the EPA. Just because of, you know, there's push for lead and we
Yep.
gotta do lead inspection.
mhm,
That inspection will consist of at least going in every basement to see what the pipe looks like coming in.
or every basement.
Everybody has a water line.
Yeah.
That,
Wow.
and if they do it right, they can do it in conjunction with putting our radio
New one.
lines in.
You're
Yeah,
supposed to be doing that.
But they have to do a lead survey.
Yeah.
And, you know, which really doesn't take into account the goosenecks that are out in the street.
no,
But, it takes into account what's coming in and the likelihood of what you may find.
okay.
So that's gotta happen.
There's
the
dollars for
PF
that. Maybe
PF
we should start working on looking for those, cause I know there's dollars in
There's
the
dollars, but there's
infrastructure
not
bill.
nearly enough money there for that kind of thing. And all that has to be done in the US.
Well, sure, but
Oh, you can look.
We
We're
could
just
have
worried
a-
about Canton Village.
we could, yeah, not worried about the rest of the world, like, we want a few of those dollars to offset our additional costs,
Yeah.
right? And that's coming out of the federal infrastructure bill, I
It's
think.
there, there's money there, but
Well, whatever
we
we
get
can
done with
get.
Michigan, we'll see what's left.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Lead dollars.
So, at any rate. I do believe our rates in water and sewer are low compared to
I
you know,
do.
what the
Mhm.
average is in most communities.
Yeah.
And that gets held against us when it comes to funding.
Yep,
Mhm.
so That's
Um,
another reason for us to do our due
Well, we
diligence
need
on those
to, we
rates.
need to increase, you know,
Mhm.
but there's still expenses are increasing in those areas, so.
Exactly.
We don't have much choice and,
Yeah.
you know, disinfection of the effluent and all that.
That's a whole
Mhm.
new nightmare,
So,
new to me anyway. nightmare.
Things
So,
you never knew.
Would
you'd
you
know.
like me to make those changes and issue you new sheets?
what change?
Or
What
the
changes?
changes that are
These.
on those sheets?
These,
These are to be reflected.
Oh, the ones that we've suggested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to make those changes.
Yeah.
You're in agreement to that, aren't you?
Sure.
wait, ask me
Ooh.
a question, Mike.
I know.
Well, what else do you want? me to
Yeah,
do?
absolutely. I am in
Yeah,
favor
The
of these
goal
changes.
was-
They
the
make
goal
very
was to
good
get-
sense.
The goal was to get this to 2%.
Right.
We've done that. Yep. Now, if, you know, we need to add something somewhere, we have to find where we're gonna get it.
Sure.
Yep.
So remind me what you said earlier, for the loader, in terms of the lease to buy in the next, we'll know in the next few days where.
We'll
that-
know when it's available, because we don't even know at this point if we can get one.
Right
In
now,
which case it doesn't have to factor in at all.
right now, if we
Everything.
were to order a new dump truck,
Mhm.
2 years. So,
So you don't have to worry about it in this year's budget.
right,
So it,
but we're also talking with our
a
leasing
dump
company.
truck.
Yes, snowplow,
Mhm.
2 years.
Okay, so it's kind of
We're
like a
another
fire
year
truck.
out on the one that we recently.
We've already ordered.
So it's like a fire truck
Um,
ish in terms
we've
of,
done better on fire trucks than.
okay, no, but in
But anyway.
terms of ordering and
Lead
lead
time
time
is,
and.
the lead time.
I
is
don't know that
long.
I think it's the supply chain more than it takes that long to get it. It's the supply chain problem more than what, I mean, a fire truck, it always takes that long, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
always have.
This is more a supply chain problem than,
Now, the other thing we're doing is that we're talking to our leasing company about the possibility of leasing a program for our
Snowplow?
plows. So we're gonna have that conversation within the next month. I've already talked to the person I deal with at the leasing company, and we're gonna see how a program there might work.
Interesting. So if we were,
But that would change the dynamic. in-
Yeah, it would.
So
Yeah.
that's what we're looking.
But that's all still. Well, no, that would be general fund.
Mhm.
Yes. it would.
On that note, would we get one that had both the ability to do the sand and the plow in one vehicle?
They tend not to go in that direction
Why?
because they want the weight to stay in the back of the plow for traction purposes. And that's a conversation.
Okay.
That's a conversation that is had with the, foreman and with, our superintendent. But I've had that conversation before and, there's times when the sander does need to go out without the plow, to salt and or to sand. So having that separate, there's some reasons why they do it that way.
Okay.
And then it allows it to be available for, use during the summer. So there's,
It's not a detachable plow.
no, it is a detachable plow and a detachable
the-
wing,
it's
but
the
what
dump.
she's saying is you should put the sander in the
Right.
truck
So
that
you
does
have
the
one
plow.
person driving,
But
Right, I know.
we
I
don't
hear
do-
about this. I hear about this from
lots of people.
lots of people.
A lot of people think that they're experts in plowing, and so some people do.
Some people do.
And, the village is a lot different than the town. It's a lot
Sure.
different than the state. And I've heard about it from a couple of state people. But, there are some very good reasons why you have two people in a plow truck. And especially in our community. With cars parked,
Mhm.
how the things that they have to go around and the things that they have to do. That's why they put two people in the plow truck.
Like one guy to argue with ornery residents that come out.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story and when
So do we have two people in the plow truck and a person, and then another person,
a sander is a one-person operation.
so two vehicles and three people?
Mhm.
Two operators
a wing person and a driver.
Gotta have a
and plow
wingman.
truck. And you have one person running the sander salt truck. That will become a safety issue with the union if we try to go the other way.
That's fine. I'm trying to understand what the process is.
While there's a lull in the conversation,
No,
can I
you
make
know,
a request? I believe, let me look at the calendar, if we look at the calendar, dates and times. I got a work calendar meeting assigned to me today.
and tell them you have other responsibilities, duties.
So the issue is that it ends at 5:30 on April 24th, which is when our session on the 24th is to begin. So my request is can we move that to 6? So that I have time to get here.
We would like you here.
I would
I'm
appreciate
sure
that.
that we can do that.
Thank you. I know there's rules about noticing, so I wanted to,
We've
I
got plenty of
suspect
time,
that
don't we?
after the 17th. Well, we'll see what happens.
right. I just figured the sooner I said it, the better.
How about even 6:30?
I mean, I don't need that, but certainly I can make that.
Whatever, everybody wants. I can make it to either, I just thought. that'd be
Would you have a
much-
special request for that?
No.
Oh, I
just-
didn't, okay.
Just thinking if it's okay with
He's
everybody.
trying to give me time.
It'll give Anna a little more time, and that's when our regular board meetings always are, so we're in a, have a pattern of 6:30. That's,
He doesn't want me flying down the road.
yeah, why rush over? That's
I would anyway, so it's all good.
up to you guys, I'm fine either way.
I can go either way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Is it optimistic of you to think that the other one will actually end at 5:30, Anna?
Well, I think that. I think that's irrelevant really, because after 5:30, you're really past hours of obligation, so I think I can. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's fine.
So what do you want? 6 or 6:30? You tell us.
I'm fine with 6.
Okay, that's fine.
Then we're home for dinner sooner. Says the person that hungry.
It's fine.
Angry.
Not yet.
6 it is.
We can do
Unless we
that.
want to have pizza with our special budget work session.
Oh, yeah.
We could do that. We do that with. The rec
Correct.
committee has committed to rotating pizza responsibilities.
Yeah,
Not a bad idea.
Mary Ann drove that, I think, didn't she?
It is alive and well.
Well,
Trick is.
you know, I
trick
have
was-
to say, if you're eating, if you're doing work over food, there's a collegiality that creates, you know?
You know what does even more?
Huh.
Collegiality? Beer or wine.
There you go.
Perhaps we
That'd
should.
be even more fun.
But I'm not the one gonna suggest bringing beer to the budget session. If you would like to suggest that, I can follow, but.
The other trick is to make sure that when somebody says peppers, they don't mean banana pepper.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, now the time, all the sound has gone completely out.
It's like, get out of here.
Okay, now that, now we're past the wall. We're all set with 6.
I'm set with 6 on the 24th, thank you.
Anything else we gotta have here that we need to drag people into? We have a
conversation with Sam Chase. Yep. State. Yes. Remington Trail.
Yep.
Anything else specifically?
we're gonna talk to Megan. We got a couple things with, we're gonna have a couple of things that we're gonna connect on. Just about Remington Trail and. golf. That's all.
Yep. Remington Trail and golf.
Golf, got that
I didn't hear that, Mike. Could you say it again?
Know about that yet.
The contract.
Oh,
wouldn't sign.
she hasn't signed it yet? Oh, golly.
Where your left
For-
thumb is.
For your committee.
There's a problem there. And I don't know why she circled the,
Oh, no problem there.
What,
I. Circle.
But that's what you want.
what did she circle?
The legal liability insurance.
But, and maybe that she didn't have the papers. That's why
No,
she say so.
sounds,
She,
You didn't
No.
tell me what,
she didn't say anything about that. She just mentioned the track, then she circled the
Liability.
liquor liability.
That was
Oh.
in the old contract.
Yes, it was.
there
She
you
did
go.
not have anything with her.
And we did lower the other insurance rate.
Yes, we did.
So, and she did not mention that other 1,000 liquor part to us, did she, Beth?
No, we went through it.
No, we went through it. The only thing she mentioned was the other two numbers on the insurance, which we did change.
well, I guess you're gonna
Okay.
be having another conversation.
So we're still at the tentative stage in our budget.
Yes, we are.
Tom, did you get everything you need about where we're at right now?
I was gonna add, do you have like total numbers? I know it's the 1 cent increase brings it, I can look at it.
Okay. What would you like? The total tax rate?
Total tax rate, yeah,
The total tax rate currently is $10.497171
per thousand,
per thousand,
and that would go up 1 cent
1 cent,
to 10.50.
10.506949. We run it out a little bit for,
Right,
They make us.
they make us do that.
sure.
So.
They
that
make
would-
us, yeah, nobody in their right minds likes 6 decimal places.
The current
Go figure.
tax rate would increase by 1 cent to $10.50.
Right. What's the-
And the tax levy stays under the 2% tax cap.
Right.
What is the total levy? Like how many,
The total levy. The total levy required in this budget is $1,845,285.
and that's 2% increase over whatever.
That's a 1.99% increase over last year.
Which is where we're
It's
allowed.
important because you have to be under 2%
Right.
on the tax cap.
So. That's where we're at.
And can I ask one more question?
Yeah,
What's total spending?
well, the total budget, including all funds. General fund, water fund, sewer fund. Would be $7,158,002. That's all funds. The general fund spending would be $4,182,855. The tax rate in the levy that we have to watch out for. Is for the general fund,
Right.
so all funds is $7 million. Which would require us to raise, that
Yeah.
1.8 million. Now, that's where we're at with the tentative budget. That will move to what,
Preliminary.
preliminary budget, probably after our next meeting. Because we will have things refined much better.
And when you have to pass it by May,
May first,
May
before
1st.
May first.
before May first, right?
We are scheduled to pass it on April 27th.
Wonder if the state will pass that budget. Never
I'm not worried.
mind.
Hey, years ago, they did, before they sort of imposed the April 1st deadline. In 2001, they didn't pass a school budget at all. It got to be August. And they did this weird funding thing. And then 9/11 happened and all the money, they said, never mind, you're not getting your, it was a big mess.
Wow,
So they do, I mean, if they get it within a couple days of April 1st, it's a miracle.
I know.
Yeah.
That isn't,
So, does anybody have anything else?
not at the moment.
Nope.
Nope.
That,
You can
we're
count
good,
on
Klaus,
stuff.
we're good. We're good, Tom.
No,
What's
I'm
that?
fine, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Mom.
Yes, thanks for your
yep.
questions too.
Yep. Okay. Great. Take a motion to adjourn this meeting. So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Pay attention that, filing for the, solar will be out, should be on Friday.
Yeah. Here we go.
I get any information, I'll pass along.
Good, thank you.
I think I passed along the sewer things.
Yeah, you did.
You
did. Thank you.
And,
Useful information to have.
well, interesting stuff. I'm looking for some other things. We're making progress.
I'm totally perplexed.
How are you feeling, Barb?
I feel fine. My surgery went well. It was simple. It didn't have any, just the plate on the side and, they gave me, in addition to the regular anesthesia, they give you this nerve block.
No, yeah, I've had.
And that's nice. I mean, I still can't feel anything. So
Fabulous.
pain management is great because I can't feel anything. So,
There you go.
Great.
so I'm happy with that. So it's just the notion of not being able to do anything is a little
Yeah.
maddening, but
Yep.
I don't
Yeah.
really have much choice here. So
It's definitely quite an experience to not be as independent as one is used to.
If somebody wants to see this. then-
Put that in your wallet.
Yeah. Well.
All right, bye, Barb.
Bye, Barb.
we'll see you. Thanks.
Yeah, I know.